Welcome back to Archeage 101. Today's episode is part 12, the discussion of consumables. I am Jalan from Salphira, but unfortunately Salphira is going to be going away in the next few weeks, but I really do look forward to being Jalan from Conviction because it's funny that an entire server's population is going to be known as the Convicts. If you need to get in touch with us, you can visit our webpage at www.paradoxgaming.net. You can email us at support@paradoxgaming.net, or you can reach me on Discord. I'm Jalan, #8446. Before we get started on our discussion of consumables, I want to let everyone know that I still have a lot of squirrel gliders to give away. I'm going to be giving away 10 more squirrel gliders from Commons Left on this video. What I'm going to ask is that people don't try to win a second glider, so no making comments with a second account. Let's let everyone have a chance to try to win a glider. If you have guildmates who are looking for a squirrel, make sure you send them this way so that they leave a comment. Getting into our objectives for the day, first we're going to talk about consumables at present day. We're going to talk about the future of consumables, and then I'm going to run you through different types of consumables, buffs versus restoration, combat versus non-combat, restoration, and then the miscellaneous others. I want everyone to know that this is the 30,000 foot view of consumables. There's no way in one video I would have enough time to just present every single consumable. I'm going to present a large number of them and kind of give new players an idea of what type of consumables are out there. And then hopefully as they get into the game themselves, they'll understand which ones they need. Really quickly, consumables at present day really fall into a question of why I want to use consumables. The biggest one is that you can fill the gaps in your gear. Plate users can buff their magic defense. Cloth users can buff their physical defense. You can increase your defense or your damage. It helps you to clear content that you just can't do with your group. I have helped people through GHA and Serpentis that just weren't ready to go in, but that was only because we could gear carry them. If you don't have a group of people that can carry you with gear, you can get carried with consumables. And then with the proper application of consumables, you can survive just a little bit longer in PvP. And if you're still up for just a few more seconds, you don't know how that's going to change the effect of the fight. Now, the thing you're going to hear is that we have a ton of options when it comes to our consumables. In fact, we have so many options that in the future, we're not going to have as many. So what it looks like today is that a sample round of pots on the left, and I'm not going to read all these to you, you'll see that it would cost you about 8.7 gold for 30 minutes of pots. For the average experienced player, this isn't a lot of money. For the average new player, this can become a draw on their income. I know some people aren't making the kind of money that experienced players make. So there's your major drawback, the amount of money it takes. On the right-hand side, it'll show you these particular consumables and what they give you. And I'm going to show you these in-game in just a few minutes. And I said consumables at present day, but I want to make sure that I tell you why I'm referencing present day versus the future. Consumables are going to change drastically in 4.0. It's such a radical change that if you don't already have max cooking and a high printing, I would highly recommend that you really consider if you want to invest into those trees. Now, granted, we don't know when the 4.0 patch is going to hit North America, but if I had to start over again, I would not go into cooking. I don't even have cooking maxed yet. And until I get a little bit more information about the change in 4.0, I'm not quite sure I'm going to be able to stay profitable. Alchemy looks like it's still going to be a big moneymaker due to the restoration consumables. And I actually chose those to do an example on today. If you're really looking for the source data, the link below at Omnom, they do a terrific job of translating the upcoming patch notes. So I'm not going to steal any more of their thunder. Just go ahead and go to their link. It's also linked on the Paradox webpage, and just read the 4.0 page patch notes. So one type of consumables are buff consumables, and you can end up with a buff bar that's ridiculously long. So I'm going to just leave this up for just a couple of seconds so that you can just see the names, and then I'm going to flip into games so you can actually see what they all look like. So when I come in a game, I have arranged my inventory in the exact order that I have presented the consumables. So right there across the top was the Kingdom Shadow, the Assorted Ribs, the Jube Jube Juice, the Jube Jube Sparkling Wine, and the Unstoppable Will. This is basically your standard set of consumables. The next set down are the Grimoires. Now, I want to make sure that I say this right at the front. The Grimoires are not producible. They only come through events or through handouts, but there is no way to print these. Yeah, they don't, that method just does not exist. So you have a wide variety, and I'm not going to read these out. I'm just going to take a moment to cursor over them. And then recently, these combat manuals have been introduced, which is basically the same as these other consumables. Instead of there being 4 different books, you click on it and it gives you a choice. I will point out, though, that the Promise Grimoire gave 70 stat, and the Combat Manual Awaken only gives 50. Moving down the side to gummies, I personally only have a few gummies from combat left. This increases magical defense. Since I wear cloth, I didn't need it, but I had it for the example. And then working down the line, this is a Dawn of Glory, aka the Honor Pot. If your raid leader ever says pop an Honor Pot, they're talking about a Dawn of Glory. So what I'm going to do is you hit C, you go into your character sheet, and then you go into the honor shop, and they're right here. Again, another good change that happened a while ago is that instead of buying specific honor pots, you just buy one and then you open it to be whatever you need. Secret gifts are another one that you cannot make these. You cannot get these unless they are a giveaway. If you look at this month's login tracker, we got 5 at the top of the month, and that's all we're going to get for the month. You'll also see that we got grimoires, and we're due to get grimoires through the month. Working down the line, combat scrolls. These are pretty impressive in that they stack with honor pots. So earlier today, I had both a toughness scroll and a toughness pot on, taking me upwards of 7,000 toughness. Tanks especially will want that. As we move right along, runes. As you saw in the notes, runes are going to change. But these are actually a fun little item, and they've been around for about 2 years. You combine 2 of the runes, and then you use a Fortuna die, and it gives you a multiplier. I'm kind of upset that they're changing these. I've always liked the randomness of which stats you can get for situational purposes. Speaking of situational purposes, you've also got a Tyrannos Index. If you're going to be in the library, these are a must. If I'm going to leave the cursor up for a second, these increase your skill damage by 75%, and both your magical and your physical defense by 1,500. If you're in the library without one of these on, just leave, because the mobs in the library are specifically designed to be fought by somebody using an index, and I don't know very many people who can not have plus 75% and have a good time in there. I'm not saying it's not possible. And finally, on combat buffs, these greatest wishes, these you don't see very often. You can actually still get them, I believe, through the marketplace, but they have to be placed and they only work for the party. These were great a couple of years ago when we were first starting to do the Hounds of Kyrios and some other bosses that we couldn't quite do. Be very careful when you're PvPing people. Make sure you don't see one of these on the ground. Some people still do have quite a stockpile of them, and I'm not going to call any names out, but I am going to give you a standing ovation. I've even gotten caught up with trying to attack you and there being other ground placement items. So then I'm going to cut the cut line here, and then I'm going to move back up to the right side, and we're going to go back to our screen real quick so that you can see the non-combat related. And as you notice, it's pretty much the same as you go down. Loot, move speed XP, loot, move speed XP, all the way through. So greedy grimoires. And as you go, you'll notice the colors of the dwarvens kind of match the gummies, blue and blue. I don't have any loot gummies. You've got your standard XP boosts. And then I'm going to look something up on the auction house because I'm not going to buy one just for this video. But you see Lucky Quicksilver would be the one that fits in there. So I also don't have a vocation tonic. I'm going to show you these. Vocation tonics give you 100% XP gain when you use labor. So if you're trying to level a new character and they have a lot of labor on them, you can stack a lot of these XP buffs and then give it a vocation tonic and make quite a bit of headway into your new levels. As we go back to our slideshow, our next category of consumables are restoration consumables. And this is really your bread and butter MMO type stuff. You've got pots, health pots, mana pots. There are some grimoires that help with this. And then food. Nothing really too out of the ordinary for MMOs. So you've got your Nui's Novas and your Desert Fires for mana. I'm sorry, for health. And you've got your Kraken's Mites and your Mossy Pools for mana. And then healing grimoires and meditation grimoires will return mana and health respectively. And then you've got your soups for mana and your sandwiches for health. Just pretty standard stuff. Resurrection scrolls. Everybody should have resurrection scrolls. Nothing is worse than being out somewhere and something going wrong and the healer can't get rezzed. Make sure you have a handful of these. As you'll see, I carry 93 on me. I have the ability to quickly slot in resurrection. I also have a Bizzle resurrection, but I keep res scrolls on me regardless. I want to talk about the top end consumables for just a second. I know a lot of people fall into the trap of I gotta have the best, I gotta have the best, the best of everything. If you look at these two items, Kraken's Mites versus Storm Raw Waves, it's 342 mana difference. Now, a Kraken's Mite sells for usually about 2.1 gold. A Storm Raw usually sells for about 2.8. They sometimes drop a little bit. So I want to ask you, is 342 mana worth 77 silver to you? It might be. And then, are you willing to spend 77 more gold per stack? It doesn't seem like a lot when it's 77 silver, but when it's 77 gold, that's a pretty big commitment. Moving on to the category of other consumables, I'm just going to leave this list up again real quick. I'm going to let you look at it, and then I'm going to flip back in the game. So these honor pots have really kind of fallen out of use. We used them a lot in early game. As you can see, they gave 10 extra honor from drill camp and +4 from war. But now that we've had the honor from kills in war up to 40, I don't really see a lot of people using these. Vocation Expertise Tonics. These are an amazing item that most people overlook, and they sell for ridiculously cheap on the auction house. If you're still struggling to get those vocation badges to up your ancestral levels, highly consider buying a few of these and then doing all of your dailies that give vocation at one time. I'm not going to go into vocation because I've already talked about it in another video, but consider just knocking this out, get them all lined up to be ready to be turned in, pop one of these potions, and then turn all of them in at the same time. I know it's only 10%, but you'd be amazed at how much 10% is when you're doing 10 to 12 quests. Immortal XP tonics, most of us don't need them because we're max level. I do keep a few around to give to new players if they come with me on some stuff that they're probably going to die, but they really, really want to see the content. Flaming Pinions, these are another one. You can't get these anywhere reliably, but most people enjoy having them. And then XP Lost, this particular one is an event one that we got. Most people never used them, but I'm a hoarder. I keep everything. So the final topic is event consumables. A lot of people don't like to do the cheesy events, but the thing is, most events have a consumable reward, and you may or may not ever see it again. The big contention point this year was the Rum Runner Festival. They dropped the exchange rate from 10 to 1 on those potions to 1 to 1, and a lot of the population was really upset about that. So if you like the item, I highly recommend you stock up on it as much as you can. So to go back into game, these stouts are the ones that I'm talking about. These increase, for me, my healing and my evasion, and its downside is it decreases my focus, but I don't care about focus. Okay, as we discussed the last couple of things on our consumables list, we're really going to talk about this Honor Boost tonic right here. These particular items have kind of fallen out of favor only because the biggest use was for the drill camp, and nobody really queues 5v5 anymore. And considering that we get 40 honor per kill, I really don't ever see these applied to people, but if you somehow come across them, there's no reason why you can't use them. The next one, the Vocation Expertise Tonic, this is the really big key point that I like to share with new players. If you notice that these give vocation badges plus 10%, these pots do not run while you're offline. So if you pop this pot and you turn in all your vocation dailies and then you log out, and the next day you're able to log in and do all your vocation dailies again, the potion will still be there. This becomes incredibly useful when you have alts that can do vocation dailies, because you focus on getting the alt logged in, turning in all the dailies, and then getting the alt logged back out so that you can do several days this way. I actually accumulated several 100,000 vocation doing that, because as we know now in 3.5, vocation is a key currency. The next couple of potions are preventing XP loss. Nobody really needs to use these anymore if they're an experienced player, but I like to keep them around in case I'm taking somebody that's not 55 with me to go do something that they want to do, because I hate to hear that they've lost XP. I know people get impatient and they don't want to wait till they're 55. So since these pots run for 60 minutes, I just throw one at them and say, yeah, come on, let's go. Flaming Pinions. Flaming Pinions are a very common event reward, and the only reason why these aren't down in the event reward section that I'm about to do is you can get them through the marketplace. You can also get them on the auction house. A lot of times you'll find them for pretty cheap, especially if they're included in the current credit box. The next three, these library passes, if you're doing a lot of work in the library, these passes are incredibly useful. The ones that you see in my inventory right now are the ones that were given to us, but you can buy these from a vendor in the library, and it really does make moving about in and out of the library much easier. The last couple, the 5K proficiency boost, I only have these in case I get close to something that I need, but for the most part, I have all of my proficiencies where I need them. And then the decreases production time 15% for 2 hours. Again, with the with the invention of the upgraded houses that have the multiprocessors, these really aren't that useful, but there are things that you can't use the multiprocessor for, mainly bundles. If you're ever going to make like 4,000 bundles at one time, these scrolls are very useful. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is event consumables. Most of the events in Archeage have a consumable associated with it. The big one for the summer was the Rum Runner event, where there was some controversy about the exchange rate. Last year, our exchange rate was 10 tonics for 1 coin. This year, it became 1 tonic for 1 coin. Those tonics can only be gotten at the Rum Runner event, so most people stocked up. If there's ever a particular consumable you like from an event, I highly recommend stocking up because you're probably never going to see it again. So I'm just going to go in and show the tonics that I'm talking about from the Run Runners. For me, it increases my healing and my evasion, but I get the hangover debuff and it decreases my focus. I'm a cleric. I don't care about my focus. And then these pumpkin taffies, 30 of all your stats for 30 minutes is pretty good for just a piece of candy. And then before I go, I want to make sure that I point out everyone's favorite consumable. It's a labor pot. It doesn't have its own heading in the slideshow, but I think everyone would agree that the most used consumable is the labor pot. Alrighty, as we wrap up today, I've got just a little bit of extra credit. This time it is an out-of-game thing, not an in-game thing. A free service that I'm offering for everyone on Salphira who has a crest stamp that was given to them, but you aren't actually the owner of the print. You don't have it. Maybe your friends stopped playing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get your stamps yourself, or show you how I will come and do it for you. If you are looking to do it for yourself, you are going to have to download a program called Archeage. I will not give you a link to it on my official site. I'm not endorsing a third-party program. I'm just letting you know that a third-party program does exist. I know a lot of people are leery of third-party programs. Or you can set up a time with me and I will come to your property and I will get the UCC and then I will post it. Or if you don't want it posted, I will send it to you. So if you come to the Paradox webpage and go to Archeage on the header and Salphira UCC crests, you will notice that I've already started pulling down some crests that I have found, some of mine and then some by request. So you can, if you're on the east, go ahead and just whisper me a time. And if I have time right then, I'll just come and do it. It only takes a few seconds. If you're new, Ian, shoot me a mail and I will set up a time to come over on my alt. And then if you're anybody else, I don't know how I'm going to help you, but we'll figure it out. All right. Finally, I want to remind everybody that I have a lot of squirrels to give away, but you have to make a comment on this video. I got a couple of mails from people that were upset with the 6 I gave away yesterday, and they said, well, I made comments on other videos. Unfortunately, I don't have free reign to just change the rules. Since I said there were 6 for that video, I could only give them away to people who commented on that video. And the reason why, and I quote from Tryon, you can use these codes to promote your content, bearing in mind that the giveaway has to be fair, meaning that anyone viewing your channel page, or platform has a chance to win. If you notice, it says it has to be fair. If I said make a comment on this video and 29 people did and you didn't, I can't put you in the raffle. So I'm going to say it one more time. You have to make a comment on this video to be in the raffle for the 10 squirrels I'm giving away. All right, guys, that's everything I have for you today on consumables. If you need help with consumables, feel free to reach out and get in touch with me at either my email or my Discord. Big thing for next week, I'm not going to schedule a video for next week because next Wednesday is the 16th, and we are anticipating the information on evolutions. What I will probably end up doing is doing some really short topic video. And then I will probably do a follow-up evolutions video. There is already an evolutions video. If you haven't watched it, scroll backwards through the playlist, and that will give you the overview. I want to remind everybody, don't be afraid of the evolutions. Last time it was a bumpy road, but it wasn't a horrible one, and we already have some assurances from Tryon that they're gonna do better. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Hey, you. Yes, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Hit that subscribe button. Watch a couple of more videos. Go check out our website.